Hitting start on the recording, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Final Fantasy Tactics Day 2. The day when I slowed down the stream because of my voice acting. Oh my god, come on, really? Oh my god. Just, here, sure you. Kill these. Kill them. Kill them. Kill them. Why do I always have to select a target? That irritates the crap out of me. Go kill them. Kill everything. Continue to kill everything. Thank you. Moving on. Okay, scripted battle now. Let's see, let's bring Loaderbot, who will do nothing. Ildana, Shiryu, Chris. Yes, they do, Dakota. I actually mentioned that yesterday. Although I think you weren't here at that point. I'm not sure. Yes, Loaderbot lives, but I refuse to let him do anything because he slows down the combat. He gets to stand there and look pretty. So long as we draw breath, you will find no passage through these lands. Whatever. Frickin' Southern Sky. You'd think at some point the Southern Sky would be like, you know, maybe we should stop being at horrific war. So there's two major things you guys missed while we were off camera. One, of course, is the fact that something really weird happens with the Ultima, the Virgo Zodiac Stone. For reasons difficult to properly explain, which is kind of my point, it actually resurrects, like straight up resurrects Marek, which is weird. Oh, nope, Loaderbot, you get to do nothing. There we go. And I wanted to really discuss that with you guys, because the game's only explanation is maybe the Zodiac Stones react to good or evil, depending on who's, you know, using them. Even though there's absolutely no evidence of that whatsoever in the entire rest of the game, especially since the Zodiac Stones are methods by which the Lucavi can manifest physically within this plane. So, why did that happen? And the game never actually explains it. It just says, well... And then the other 99% of the time, that's a slight exaggeration, every single other time without fail, the Zodiac Stones are... whoops. AI, coward! No. There's nothing, it's just, nope. We've suddenly decided to not be evil this one time, so I was wondering if you guys just thought on that. So far, not seeing any actual explanations. Maybe Dakota? Like a purification type thing? See you around, Aethel. And yeah, I hope we have no issues today as well. So yeah, we're kind of entering a pseudo-gauntlet part of the game at this point. It's gonna be battle, pretty much until the end. Now, I looked it up. According to online sources, the specific stone she was using to resurrect Marek was the Virgo stone, which is Ultima's stone. But that doesn't make sense since we have Virgo later, so I'm not actually sure which stone it was. So, hello, Meliadul, also known as one of my favorite characters. Seriously, the moment I get... I mean, everyone loves Orlandeau, and for obvious reasons. He's a death machine of doom. But Meliadul, for some reason, has always been like one of my mains the moment she joins my party. I'm actually curious if anybody else really uses Meliadul as much as I do. God, I have like 10 viewers right now. Nobody wants to... For years, people have been like, oh, we really want you to cover FFT, and then no one's here when I cover FFT. It doesn't help that we don't actually know what the Lucavi really are, either. That's a related problem. It's like, well, they're evil, and they're not native to this world, and they need the stones to manifest here, and they're strong. It's about what we know about the Lucavi. I gotta admit, I was actually reading up on something regarding this exact thought. So you know how I've been bemoaning for almost the entire Lorerun, you know, the whole we don't know thing, you know, every time I have to say the words we don't know or we can only speculate, how much that aggravates the hell out of me. I was reading a line of thought that basically says, well, it's a good thing. The game shouldn't explain everything. There should be stuff that is never explained in the game, so it remains a mystery. Now, obviously that's a matter of opinion and choice, but I was curious how many other people felt that way. With legitimacy, because I don't. In fact, I hate that. I hate that crap when a gameplay or a story or a book is like, what's in the box? Or, well, we never tell you. Or, you know, what's with regarding this thing? Ah, we're never going to tell you. Why do these things happen here? We're never going to tell you. Where did the Ocuria come from? We're never going to tell you. You know, hate that crap. Drives me batty. Because at that point, all I can do is just sit back and say, okay, well, I'm going to have to actually make up my own lore. Hence the whole headcanon thing, in order to fill the holes that you left. Anyways. Hey, Delita. Thinking about Tetra, who is very dead, of course. Two trailers, Metalsev. You know that trick too, making a whistle with a blade of grass. A friend taught me when I was living at the monastery. You never seem to make it work though. Here, like this. Bonding moment. I did it! And then 50 guys attack. What's that? Oh, this? A pendant? I keep it as a remembrance of my sister, Tetra. She was caught up in the fighting and died. I'm sorry. She died for the nobility's convenience. They used her and cast her away, and for that, I cannot forgive them. And thus I shall become one of them, and rule on high, as Sultan! Oh, sorry. So yeah, blah blah blah. This is more of Delita trying to continue to bond with her. I'm pretty sure at this point in time that Delita is mostly faking all this to try and force her, if you can, to fall in love with him. Remember, one of Delita's greatest strengths when it comes to manipulation is playing the people. Now, I haven't been ignoring everyone in chat. I just wanted to let that cutscene play real quick. So, I suppose I can agree that it depends on the situation. You know, the Reapers being a good example. Takoida's example is even better. We never learned the truth of Ovelia's origins, but that doesn't matter because the whole point is that who she actually is doesn't matter. That her source, her origin, whether she's noble or not, or whether it ever was an Ovelia, is irrelevant to the circumstances at hand, right? That being said, I do want to say that I think that the writer should have the answer to this question. There are many times, and of course we rarely know the specifics with most works, but every now and again, like, okay, let me give you an example. We know that Ramza and Alma live at the end of this game. We know this because the writers confirmed this outside of the game. So they actually had written that stuff even if they didn't show it in the game. Make sense? And that's the kind of writing I think is good. That you should have a situation where the writer knows all the answers to these questions, knows about the Reapers, knows about Ovelia's origin, all that fun stuff, and thus is showing their work. And then if they are questioned about it, or if there's like You know, if there's a Ultimania type thing, or if there's an interview or whatever, then they can give the answer outside of the game. By contrast, the Reapers... I mean, we know what the Reapers' original setup was, but only bits and pieces of it, which, to me, implies that they didn't have the whole thing written. You know, they just had the vague outline, and then they threw that out the window when they decided to go with the singularity idea instead. So, I don't know. I suppose it is a case-by-case basis, though. I will at least give it that credence. Loaderbot! Oh, and also sure you. I actually agree with you, by the way, Taquita. With regards to Delita, using real tears to fake a connection with Ovelia. Really? Really? Effectively a random battle. Including with a pig. You probably think I'm joking, but I am actually not. You do nothing, Loaderbot. Yes, Oregon Trail, but with rabid chocobos. God, that sounds horrible! I never want to play that game. The good news is Chris can't flirt with the chocobos, so we're good. Oh god, I was just waiting for him to prove me wrong there and be like, hey, chocobo lady. Wink, wink. I want you to go after the pig. I admittedly am not a particularly big fan of you know, Sword of Fire and Ice, so I can't really comment on that particular example. No, dear Bruno, no! Those are dark thoughts that we must not entertain. Oh my god, Loaderbot. Stop being here! God! Okay. Finally to Zeltennia. Yes, I know you can, but you need another... You can't use Steel Heart to charm monsters. Oh, hello.
A heretic at prayer in a church. Passing bold, Ramza.
I shall ask it plain. Why has the High Confessor planted you amongst Goltana's men?
I see no harm in telling you. Duke Goltana and Count Orlandeau. I am to assassinate them. Groups such as the Corpse Brigade, ill-contented with the crown and the nobility, are in no short supply. The Church only fans rebellion's flame. The people tire of war, and their disdain for the crown waxes with each passing day. Of course, Goltana and Larg want to put down the rebellions at home. Only they lack the troops to do so. To break the impasse, they seek to bring an end to the conflict for good and all. Even as we speak, their armies mass at Fort Besala to that purpose.
Then these months of rebellion and unrest, it all goes as the High Confessor had planned.
Yes, but it will not end as they have hoped. Larg and Goltana will be assassinated once the battle begins. Cut off one head, and two more spring forth. So naturally their closest allies must die with them. Count Orlandeau of the Order of the Southern Sky, Zalbag of the Northern, and of course, Lord Dyce-darg.
Oh, I've been saying it right.
With their leaders gone, the fighting will cease, and they will have no choice but to embrace the peace we offer.
A peace? Or surrender on the Church's terms?
The people will proffer to the church the role of mediator with hands upraised. What's more, the church will have the Zodiac Braves. But there's the rub. One thing yet remains between the church and the Aurosite. The heretic, Ramza.
Oh, I was pronouncing that right, too.
Is that it? You've come to fetch the Aurosite for your masters?
I am no hound healing at the church's skirts. I answer to no one but myself.
Music's too loud here.
Meaning what?
Meaning I would not think twice of killing you, Ramza, should the hour come. But not this day. Though our methods be different, our goals are not. As long as they remain so, you are no enemy of mine.
Delita. Let us fight this together.
I cannot join you. She needs me. Far too much to leave her now.
The princess?
Prince or princess, the church cares not. It craves only power. A puppet state, with the High Confessor at its strings. This is their grand plan for Ivalice.
And you? Do you not use Ovelia to fulfill your own ambitions?
I cannot say. I am sure only of this. To save her life, I would gladly give my own.
Honestly, I think this is just Delita continuing to play Ramza here. He knows what Ramza will respond to.
You must think this strange.
No. I understand only too well.
I address the heretic Ramza. You are besieged. You will surrender yourself up to us at once.
I know that voice. Confessor Salmore.
Of course, that's just interpretation. It's entirely possible Delita is either being wholly or partially honest with Ramza here. No flirting. You're a heretic. The Blackroom Knight Delita Hyrule. Yours is an unexpected nice sight. He has seen me. He must not live to tell of it. We must fight them. They know nothing of the High Confessor's plot. They serve him blindly. If we explain what's happened, they may well listen. Hear your words. Reasoning with their ilk is folly. Even you must see this. But you have leave to try. That is true, Max Time. It could be argued that there's no one that Delita is not manipulating from the midway point of the game onwards. Oh yeah, by the way, I haven't even mentioned this because it's almost never actually relevant. You can push people off stuff. In fact, there's actually a shove attack, if memory serves. Wait, you can hit up there? Wow. I don't think I knew that. Anyways, it's almost never really that relevant, unless you're trying to get a certain amount of positioning, right? Yeah, wow. Okay, he did. Jesus. Don't think, yeah. Anyways. Where will you go now, Waffles? 2 errands brought me to Zeltennia. The first was to meet with you. The second to speak with Count Orlandeau. The Thunder? I mean to enlist his aid in exposing the church's intrigues. Oh. I have powerful evidence of the Church's misdeeds. Ah, the scriptures of Germanique. I spoke with the Count's adopted son, Oren, not long past. He pledged their aid should I bring hard evidence against the Church. Oren, It's alright, she's with me. Mullonde has provided several others to help me carry out this task. She is but one. Help you? I was sent to keep watch on you. And a fine job you're doing of it. Only she knows our plans in full. I trust no other in Gultana's army more. You're the youngest Beowulf of Waffles, am I right? My name is Velamafra. I'm one of the few people who survives this game, although apparently I lose my tongue. They're never really, clear on that. I take it you did not come for idle chat. The Northern Order moves. Ah, they make for Belisar. Besala, excuse me. Dyslexia. Count Orlandeau himself has departed for the same, only just now. Duke Gultana is to join them soon, at the head of your Blackroom Knights, no less. And we're too late. The fighting will continue. Don't give up yet. I might still convince the Count to avoid this needless bloodshed. Well, then our paths part once again. Be safe, Delita. And you, Waffles. It is interesting to notice that Delita is also manipulating Ramza, but of all the people he manipulates, he probably has the most respect for Ramza. I just feel like pointing that out. It's the closest thing Delita has to something that might equate to friendship. He acts as I expected he would. Even your friends are only pieces to be played. Mind your words, you know not what you say. Yeah, she gets hardly any screen time. It's like this scene, one other scene, and then the ending. That's basically it. God, what is with the sound effects? I feel like the sound effects were fine in the PSP, so it must just be the emulator. I would too, Takoida, but it does unfortunately get in the way of the whole yin-yang thing going on with Delita and Ramza. So unfortunately, well, okay, let's talk about Orlandeau while we do... Wait, who's this? Oh, a Knight Templar. Ah, yes. Who's poisoning stuff. Now there's a creature I had thought not to find in these wastes. One might say the same of a Knight Templar so far from the church. What is it you scatter to the wind? Oh, that? I suppose there's no harm in knowing. There's naught you can do to stop it now. Moss fungus. I think. Yep, poison. Poison! Yes, ground into a fine powder and cast upon the winds towards the northern sky. The toxin will not kill men who breathe it, but it will wither their constitution, rendering them unable to fight. But why? The High Confessor stands to gain naught by handing victory to Gultana. Nor does he think to. The moment Gultana hears of the Northern Order's plight, he will send his armies against them. With his own stronghold unguarded, Gultana will be an easy target for assassination, and Count Orlandeau with him. But do not think Duke Larg will escape this scourge. His is the easy death to achieve. Amidst the coming chaos, who could say how Duke Larg met his end? You ought rejoice. This will mean an end to war and bloodshed, and with that end a new beginning. The Church's hand shall rule. Such is the will of the people. They clamor for change, an end to groveling at highborn heels. The war will end, but not like this. There's another way. I expected you'd say as much. No matter. Killy time. So I want to talk about Orlandeau while I wreck this guy. Orlandeau is almost single-handedly responsible for the war taking as long as it is. He's very General Leo in his presentation. And it kind of drives me crazy. See, it's stated on in a conversation that you guys missed because Twitch was acting up, that the only real reason that most of the forces under Duke Gultana remain loyal to Duke Gultana is because Orlandeau remains loyal to Duke Gultana. If he wasn't loyal, if he decided instead to separate his forces from the Duke, the other forces would separate from the Duke, and the Northern Sky would be, Southern Sky, sorry. So I got my notes. The Southern Sky would effectively just cease to exist. because he, specifically, decides to stick with him, he almost, like I said, he almost single-handedly elongates the war. And he's dead. Well, I didn't have a long time to talk there, did I? No, it was not to die like this. Well, I can help with that. Here, hang on. We've got a chocobo in the party. But yeah, it's a very common character trope. Again, I use General Leo from FF6. We also saw this in Beatrix over in FF9. And a lot of the Fire Emblems, there's a character who's like, I must remain loyal. Orlandeau even has a line which is basically, once I have sworn an oath, I shall not forswear it. No matter what. Keeping in mind that Orlandeau has been actively plotting to try and, you know, stop the war on the side, but refusing to actually forswear his oath to Goltana. And then, of course, as a consequence, Goltana, fearing the reality of the situation, quite rightly, decides to accuse him of plotting against the Duke. Please, my lord, do not make this harder than it has to be. We have our orders. Why in the name of all that's good would I wish to unseat my liege lord? You ask the very question that vexes me. I'm gravely disappointed in you, Cid. So what Goltana's doing here is, arrogant? He only gets away with it because Orlandeau's an idiot. And I'm just going to say that as bluntly as possible. Orlandeau could kill every person in this room, starting with Goltana, without having much difficulty. That's not true. I mean, he's not that strong, but he certainly could take out these 5 people. And he has the support of basically the entire Southern Sky at his back. So this is basically Goltana effectively forcing Orlandeau to go against him. Except Orlandeau doesn't. Which is why I just want to grab him and shake him. It's like, why? Why are you making this worse? Anyways. So yes, both politically and in terms of personal power, Cid is probably one of the top tiers of the setting right now. The only people who could actually match him are Hashmal and Ramza, and Delita, maybe. Surely you cannot mean that, Your Grace. I am no turncloak. I'm your most loyal man. I'm literally the only reason you have an army right now. As I just discussed. The proof speaks otherwise. It seems you've been in league with members of the church, working secretly to see me ousted from my rightful seat. That is absurd. From what lying blackguard did you hear such reverie? Even yet you deny it. My information comes from the High Confessor himself. You can imagine his distress upon learning of the plot. Your Grace, the High Confessor deceives you. It is he who schemes in the shadows. The High Confessor? Oh, now there's an august claim. Have you any evidence of this? 20 and more years of loyal service, and still you require evidence. Words fail me, Your Grace. As you fail me, I cannot hope to fight a war without your order's forces. Still, it seems I am left no choice. A lamentable situation for us both. Take him from my sight! So, what we're seeing here is the obvious political maneuver on behalf of the High Confessor. In fact, it's so obvious, it probably shouldn't have worked. The only reason that Goltana goes along with this is because of fear. No, seriously, it is actually only because of fear. That's hysterical. Thank you very much, Chelsea Atera. Thank you for the subscription. The only reason Goltana goes along with this is because of fear. Because he is politically weak and terrified of the power, both politically and personally, and militarily, actually, while we're on the subject, that Orlandeau commands. And so he's like, all right, cool. I'm going to go along with this. I'm going to go along with this obvious ploy by the High Confessor to remove one of the biggest obstacles to his position. But if you actually sit back and think about it, what Goltana is doing here is really, really stupid. Ultimately, it wouldn't have worked out anyways. And it doesn't work out even in the short term because... well, yeah. I think I've discussed it at length. Moron! You summoned, Your Grace. I want you to maintain your contact with Mullonde. Once the confessional receipt is in my hands, Larg is as good as defeated. Fear not, Your Grace, the High Confessor's mind is most firm on that account. He seems somewhat indifferent to me. There's another matter as well. I'm placing the Order of the Southern Sky under your leadership. Henceforth, you are a knight devout. You grant me honor far beyond my due. I expect I shall not regret it. I place my full and utter confidence in you, Delita. You and you alone. So, in case you missed the significance of that moment, he is now knighted, which means he is actually part of the nobility. A very, very low part of nobility. But nevertheless, he is now a part of the nobility. He qualifies as highborn now. South Wall. Loaderbot, Adonis, Shrew, Chris. And yeah, Gultana is officially doomed as of now. If you've been paying attention, all of the 6 plots have effectively started colliding at this point in time. And what's funny is almost all of these plots disintegrate underneath this collision because they can't withstand running into the other plots. The trick is there's only 2 of the 6 plots that actually survive this collision, as each of the plots just kind of starts running into each other and running into each other. And that would be Delita's plot, which relies on everyone else to be weakened, and the Lucavi's plot, which relies on everyone else to be dead. In other words, both of them are actually benefiting from the plots colliding. And of course, it's no surprise that Delita and the Lucavi both actively try to shove the other 4 plots into each other. We come under a white banner to meet with Count Orlandeau. We must meet him at once. So, the Count has visitors. I wager you're the rabble he found to assassinate the Duke. You fools! We hold Orlandeau in a cell behind these very walls. Not to worry. There's room enough in the dungeons for you and the Count both. I mean, if you want me to kill you all, I'm okay with that, really. Also, that ninja up there on that wall is either a horrific nightmare or a great boon, depending on if you're set up to catch all the stuff he throws at you. Larg, Gultana, the Church, Lucavi, Delita, and Barrington! You forgot about Barrington's plot. Oh, that's okay. I don't blame you, because most people do. Barrington's plot has effectively ceased as of this moment, but is still having ripple effects on everything else. Especially with its relevance to the Lucavi plot. Hey, ninja dude. I wonder who wins, a ninja or a dragoon? I guess we'll find out. Okay, good news. There's no females here. No flirting today. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Jaludo. Well, guys, looks like a ninja cannot beat a dragoon. Do nothing. We're pretty close to the end. Wait. Oh no, that's my female. Never mind. Continue to do nothing, Loaderbot. Yeah, actually, in all honesty, normally a ninja will wreck a dragoon. A dragoon who is jumping, at least, has no ability to really do anything against a ninja. Ninjas have the highest speed by a huge margin. Innate speed. And abilities to increase their speed, which I usually put on other people. Monk. Excuse me. So yeah, this probably... I mean, I don't want this... But realistically speaking, this probably should have been like 5 battles to get into this freaking fortress. What's happened here? You're unwell. What's wrong? It's only my head. I'll be fine. Ooh, that's a tough one, Kamurusko. Oh, so far we're at 2, Pretzel. They have befouled the air, a poison extracted from moss fungus spores. Lord Brother! I will be well. I worry only for the Duke. Where is he? Would that I knew. My search has yielded naught. Zalbag, Dyce-darg, I am here. Hey, Larg. What's up? Excellency, are you harmed? Someone an apothecary at once. Yeah, the speed with which Dyce-darg not only identifies that it is poison, but the specific type of poison is suspect, and actually is literally foreshadowing. My head, it feels as though it were split in twain. But I do not think it's serious, I just need some time. Most unfortunate. What? And then he murders him on the spot. So this is a good time to talk about Dyce-darg. He is a classic Type 4 villain. And one of my favorite examples of a Type 4 villain, actually. I think I might start using Dyce-darg as an example of Type 4 going forward. He is unrepentantly, unremorsefully evil. He's not like, oh, what I'm doing is justified, or anything like that. He doesn't try to justify it. He doesn't try to manipulate around it. He is just high and willing to do whatever is necessary to accomplish his own personal goals. He is a bastard, not in the literal sense. Gotta make sure he's dead. Be silent, brother. You've betrayed me? You killed your father to gain control of your house? And now you've killed me? Is this your poison, your work as well? No, no. It's a gift of those who would see House Beowulf take center stage. Why do this? Duke Larg was slain in battle. It is now left to House Beowulf to carry out his wishes. This... you go too far. This dagger, place it amongst the corpses. They were assassins, sent by the Southern Order. You understand me, yes? Dyce-darg? So House Beowulf is already well positioned in the world, so moving up a step here is actually a very logical move. The idea here is that either they win this coming battle, in which case they are now in control of the world, or the kingdom, I should say, or the battle is lost and House Beowulf has risen to prominence and therefore can ride out the wave and be one of the most powerful houses remaining. Yeah, the fact that Zalbag goes along with it says a lot for his character. He's generally, for lack of a better term, whitewashed a little bit in this game, but it's more, I think it would be more accurate to say personally that Zalbag just isn't as evil as Dyce-darg. You know, he's not as proactive about going out there and just murdering people in the face in order to get his own ends. But he's not exactly a good guy like his younger brother Ramza. So this is where Ramza's big scheme comes into mind. This is actually kind of funny in its own right. Ramza's goal here is to open the gate to stop the battle indecisively, which is surprisingly logical. So we're going to do this one manually, because I'm not here to kill everyone. And yeah, I like that idea that Zalbag is kind of a byproduct of his time, as opposed to just outright horrific. If I was to classify Zalbag on my own personal types of villains, I would say he's a Type 4 villain. Or, excuse me, that's his brother. A Type 2 villain, my bad. Sympathetic villain, but still a villain. Although, again, it's hard to classify Zalbag as outright evil. So, shrug. Oh, God. I just realized this is... oh, my God. Alright. I know what I'm gonna do. We're gonna be fast-forwarding for a bit here. Or hoping that they programmed this correctly. There might be a trigger to just kill everyone. And that advanced the plot. We'll see if that's actually true or not. Otherwise, we'll have to reload. Okay. We're actually okay here. Hey, it worked! We just killed all of them. I'm guessing that's new in the PSP version. Because, yeah, I'm with Dakota. I'm pretty sure that wasn't true in the original. Click. So this isn't quite a tsunami. This just makes everyone be up to their waist in water, basically. Which stalls the fighting. Now that's the whole point. This is going to save a lot of lives, believe it or not. Because now the battle will not be a massacre. It will merely be a mess. Count Orlandeau, we've come! Hey, Orlandeau. I pray you've been kept well, my lord. Also, why didn't you just break out yourself? Sorry. Well enough, as you can see. And this must be Waffles. How you've grown, boy. Still, I recognized you at once. Have we met, Excellency? Yes, though I can't say I'm surprised you've forgotten. You were a child of some 3 or 4 years at the time. You gave us all quite a fright trying to lift my sword. Your father gave you a scolding that left you in tears, but at least you weren't old. And now you've come to rescue me. I thank you. There's no need to kneel. The battle's ended with only light casualties on either side. This, too, thanks to the help of Waffles and his companion. We've managed to hold the fires of war at bay for a time. I see. You are a worthy son of Barnabas, son, young Waffles. There are many who owe you their thanks, and I give it now in their stead. And mine with it, to be sure. I only do what must be done. I see your likeness to Barnabas is more than skin deep. Your deeds honor him, boy. Pray forgive my interruption, but Duke Goltana means to execute your excellency on the morrow. We should waste no time in fleeing. It is as she says, my lord. We should continue this elsewhere. Yes. It won't do well for me to remain here with Goltana in this ill temper. Oren, the hour of this war's end will not be long in coming. Until it does, I mean to travel with Waffles. We must put a stop to the High Confessor's plans. Then I'll go with you, my lord. No. You will return to Zeltennia and see to the safety of Lady Ovelia. She alone is the rightful heir to the throne. You must see to it that she comes to no harm. I understand. Well, Waffles, you've no objections, I trust. Gee, having the legendary hero who's an incredible badass joining my party. No, I have no objections. Funny fact about Cid. Every single recruitable character joins your party at a static level, except Cid, who actually averages his level to your party's level. So if you've been grinding, he is just as high level as you are. There might be a couple of other exceptions about that I don't know about, like monsters or whatnot, but he's the only plot character like that. How has the sluice been opened? I suffer a plague of fools! You called for me, Excellency. You are to gather a company of soldiers and move against the northern sky at once. The water from the sluice makes movement difficult enough, let alone fighting. What's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander! This is an opportunity we cannot pass! They will not be expecting an attack. If they slip away now, who can say how long this war may drag on? This is a good example of why Goltana knows nothing about military tactics, by the way. I find that relevant, considering that he was apparently involved in the 50 Years' War, and yet if he is going to make a mistake this amateurish, I must refuse. Refuse! Oh, and then Delita murders the crap out of him. No man would wish to see you king. Come! Hey, it's Orlandeau. Know that your death is not in vain. The vanity would be in the living when Saint Ajora calls me to his side. Yeah, whatever. The real Count Orlandeau has escaped with Waffles. Then we can but hope that Waffles does not fail us. This is a good time to mention, they don't actually say the exact point in time at which it happens. Hang on. They don't say the exact point in time at which it happens. But at some point prior to now, Delita has become aware of the Lucavi and their existence and their influence on the story. Now, I mention that because it is likely that that information comes to him through Ramza and his constant ramblings about the Lucavi. The reason I mention that, and this is really, really important, is because it means Delita trusts Ramza. Now, there's no reason he wouldn't, right? But my point is, no one else does. Until people literally see the transformation of the Lucavi for themselves, no one actually believes him about the Lucavi plot. But Delita hears about it and says, yep, he's telling the truth, and immediately adjusts his plans to accommodate it. The entire reason he manipulated this whole situation... This is a brilliant three-punch move here. The first and obvious punch is he is now getting further in with the High Confessor and becoming more ingratiated with the Church. The second, slightly more subtle move, is he is ensuring that Orlandeau is now free to group with Ramza in order to defeat the Lucavi, which is something he actually wants. Because of course he does. And I want to pause on that point for just a moment, because that right there is why I like Delita so much as a character. He's the kind of villain, antagonist, who will look at a situation and say, well, I'd love to claim power for myself. That is absolutely my goal. But if I do and allow these Lucavi to come out, then I'm screwed. I need the world to be in a decent enough shape for there to be something for me to rule. Too often in fictions, villains will either disbelieve or be like, I'll take care of the Lucavi myself. Instead, Delita specifically maneuvers things so that Ramza has a clear path to the Lucavi. Which, of course, brings me to the third thing he does here. He has just stained Orlandeau's name completely. He has just framed Orlandeau for killing the Duke. That's the end of House Orlandeau right there. That's the end of his political power. So he has just ensured Orlandeau is going to help against the real threat of the Lucavi and ensured that he cannot politically contest Delita himself. He can still come up and kill him in the face, of course, but he's no longer a political threat. High Confessor Marcel came forward with his offer to mediate peace between the camps, but though their leaders had been lost, there were not sufficient losses in order to have it happen. In other words, it didn't work. Because of the fact that both sides didn't lose enough troops, the High Confessor's main plot has just failed. Because his plot was, the Church comes in and mediates the end of the war. Well, not happening now. Please, no, please, no, please, no. Okay, we're good. You're the second person to tell me that, Luke Sigil. Am I the only one who really loves the inclusion of the Lucavi into FFT? Hello, Aerith. Eris. Okay. I'll buy the flower. Sure, whatever. Pretty far into the game, by the way. We are effectively in the final chapter here. We'll bring Orlandeau. Kind of show him off a little bit. One way or another, we are probably not doing the next game on the list today, which I thought was 13. Or was it Type 0? I actually don't remember the order I set up for them. I thought I was doing Type 0 after the 13s. Otherwise, Roxime is... well, I'm gonna have to go with the save I have, basically. And suddenly, random robbers for absolutely no reason. And they try to rob us, and they're like, wait, you're a heretic! We'll just kill you! So. completely unnecessary thing here. Like I said, towards the end here, it kind of gets a little bit eyebrow-raisy when it comes to a lot of the fights that just kind of start happening. No, nobody wanted to be a summoner, so... And Agrius just outperformed Orlandeau. For shame, Orlandeau. Why do I have to select a target for an attack AI? It's not like they won't just keep attacking. I've never actually relied on summons anytime playing in this game, though, in all honesty. They hit really hard and are pretty useful early game. And they very quickly become useless. Come on, Orlandeau. Do something. Do something, Orlandeau. This is it. This is your chance. Nope. Nope. Orlandeau literally did nothing. Alright, what the hell, Orlandeau? No, he has abilities. He's just not using them. Whatever. I'm sorry, guys. I can't agree. I'm sorry. I even had a whole speech earlier about how I feel like this game is one of the few political games that manage the fantasy aspect well. So I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree on this one. Sorry. Wow, ghosts. Ghosts. For no reason, ghosts. Ghosts. I don't know why there's just... Like I said, towards the end of the game, there's just a whole lot of random battles with excuse reason for battle. It's just, yep, here's a fight. Enjoy the fight. There's really no excuse for it. Now, that being said, by the way, those of you who dislike the Lucavi, I highly recommend Tactics Ogre. The Tactics Ogre still does have, you know, fantasy elements, but it's like in the last 5% of the game. Oh my god, did you just flirt with a ghost? Not even a person ghost, just a flat-out wisp. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, this is something I should mention. So, we're on the eastern borders of Ivalice in general here, aka the area which was being onslaughted during the 50 Years' War. This whole area is kind of a mess. And it's very logical that there's a lot of soldier undead here, and ghost undead here, and, you know, death terrain. This whole place is just kind of a wreck, and will probably remain so for a long time. Don't flirt. Don't flirt with another ghost. Okay, good. So here's Loffrey. This is a funny cutscene. So, you are unwilling to compromise on your position? Ivalice's reunification under its rightful king was his grace's most fervent wish. We've no intention of laying down arms until Prince Ornus sits on the throne that is his birthright. You will not steer the helm of Ivalice at your own pleasure, not so long as this house stands. Do you not know who made your assassination of the Duke possible? I mislike the question. Larg was felled by a Southern Sky assassin. Or do you mean to say that you were the ones who sent him? Dyce-darg is an interesting character because he's not actually that politically savvy. He's the kind of guy who tells lies that he doesn't expect people to believe, but everyone has to play along with it because of the nature of politics. In other words, he's a person who uses his position as a shield and doesn't actually maneuver politically. He doesn't actually try anything. He just says, nope. Do you have any proof? Are you trying to say that you are the one who did it? By the way, subtle and nice touch. You notice the doors open there. Were it our desire, we could crush the Templar like an overripe grape. Of that I am quite convinced. Pray remove that fine white cloak beforehand. Burst grapes oft leave a fearsome stain. Tell me, this poison employed at Besala, do you know what it was? I believe it was an extract of moss fungus spores. So it was. An insidious thing, moss fungus. Takes a great quantity to kill a man, but the toxin never leaves the blood. The smallest, most undetectable doses will prove lethal if repeated often enough. Even a learned eye might confuse the symptoms with those of common affliction. Oft as not, the person being poisoned is never even aware, and should they become so, it is almost invariably too late. Your late Lord Father was taken by malady, was he not? Do you make some implication? I'm told you yourself have some knowledge in poisoncraft. What of it? I recently learned an interesting fact. I had wondered if you might be aware of it. Moss fungus poisoning leaves spores in the body. When a victim is buried, they say toadstools sprout from the grave. Forgive me. I digress. Ah, yes, there was another matter. A gift from High Confessor Marcel. A stone of Adramelech. The Wrath. A gemstone? It is a Zodiac stone, a blessed crystal from Mullonde. The High Confessor wished for you to have it. Please accept it as a symbol of the Church's good faith. And there's Zalbag, at the door I mentioned, hearing everything. So Zalbag, as we mentioned, political byproduct of his time, willing to, look the other way, but there is such a thing as crossing the line with him, and killing his father? Yeah. Also, I guarantee you that Lawfrey knew that he was being listened in on, if for no other reason than the fact that he's a frickin' Ultima demon. Hey, Nothrism. What's funny is Funebris, the High Confessor, is extremely important to the plot, yet he's only on camera once, to my knowledge, and we're not even there yet. He's the main precipitator of the Church of Glabados' plot, and unwilling manipulant of the Lucavi's plot. So, he's got issues. Oh, yes, this is the Elmdore situation. So these are the two Ultima demons I mentioned earlier. Dun dun dun! It was always a trap. This map would be really, really, really mean if not for those crates over there. You would have to set yourself up specifically to deal with all the people up top, if not for those damn crates. Or, if you had a really high jump, which, as it happens, I do. I mean, Spira came after this, but you were right. To my knowledge, this is one of the only two that does that. Even though FF2 would actually make a lot more sense if it was actually a single continent, but whatever. You deal with her. Now, remember I told you about these succubi, Chris? These are them. So whatever you do, do not flirt with them. Actually, I'm curious if you can reach them before they die. We'll find out, I suppose. You notice even with the crates there, it still requires a jump of, I think, 2 to get up there. We'll see if he even gets a chance to flirt. Okay, here it goes. He... Oh yes, this is one of, if I'm not mistaken, 2 times in the entire game that Ramza can get Ultima. And yeah, it's really not worth it. It's just a trophy, basically. Chris? Why did you flirt with the thing back there? Well, can't flirt with her now. Or either of them. No, Der Bruno. No, it's definitely not beautiful on the inside. Ambulance. Yeah, only 2 people can learn Ultima with the blue magic concept. And yeah, I really don't know why they can. I'm not even sure if there's supposed to be a lore significance behind the fact that both of them can learn Ultima by having it cast on them. Belias and Kukulain defeated. We are all that's left. We and Adramelech, who waits trapped in the rift. Do not worry. Do not worry over Adramelech. He will join us ere long. You found a host? Not I. The stone. The stone chooses the flesh, as it was with us. Of course. And all that remains is the revival of the Master. Once that is done, we'll have no need of Oracite, nor of these vessels. We'll come and go as we please. Do we have a host for the High Seraph? Do not tell me it's that girl. There is but one host fit for the High Seraph. The girl is the chosen. Now we need only find the way to the Necrohol and the High Seraph's soul. He is here. I've drawn him into our web. What will you have us do with him? Ah, Waffles, so long you've kept us waiting. We have a score to settle from Riovanus. Do not make light of him. He is a worthy foe. Not even Belias could stand before him. He didn't worry about me. I shall deal with him. You've matters of far greater import. You must find the gate to the Necrohol. Be at ease. I will not disappoint you. Because I have teleport! Why do they all have teleport? Eh. Ah, fine. I'll start bringing Loaderbot. Damn you, Loaderbot! Why must you be so awesome? Why? I like to think that Loaderbot's just charging up his spells for the next several missions here. So, I mentioned earlier that the rooftop fight is the most... of course, we weren't live at the time because of the stream issues, but the rooftop fight is the fight that just pisses me off and aggravates me, and I hate it, and I loathe it, and every time I replay this game, I freaking want to strangle it. But in my opinion, the most difficult boss fight in the game is this one. This is the one I usually get stuck on right here. 2 Ultima Demons and Elmdore, who actually does have vampiric abilities. So, yay! Actually, it might be the second phase of this fight, but it's the same damn thing either way. And hey, random. We are making our way through. Bit by bit. Yep. Loaderbot, keep charging! Oh, I've got it. Loaderbot is sucking up the souls of all the enemies we fight from here on out. How's that sound, guys? I mean, that sounds like the thing Loaderbot would do, doesn't it? Ugh. So that's an Ultima Demon. That's what they really look like. I was kind of hoping that Chris would go for it with one, since they're basically succubi. But it looks like that's not to be. Ho ho! I think he does Dakota, yeah. I remember he has a lot of abilities, including the one you mentioned, Maintenance, which makes him rough. We'll see how this turns out here. God, I hate this fight so much. Jump, jump! I don't think he can stop and jump. Oh my god, he can block a jump. He actually got a turn. Oh, one got through. Okay. We were just rolling the dice until we got an attack through there. Jesus Christ. Like I said, hardest boss in the game. Hate this fight. Absolutely hate that fight. And yes, I'm pretty sure Chris is the one who finally got through there. He blocked a jump. So yeah, for those of you not aware of the significance of that, his bravery is through the roof, and he has, I actually forget the name of the ability, but basically, Mega Block. And it shows! Oh, it's insane, Mukin. It is truly insane. I figured I'd have to cast him to death, but it took so long to charge the spell that he actually got an action. Oh yeah, by the way, the mere fact that he got an action at all says something about his speed value. The way is shut. And it's Orgath! Hey! To think my luck that we would meet again. To think my luck so fair that we would chance to meet again. I thought you were dead. Dead? Oh, Waffles, your mind's as common as your friends. I do not die. I was reborn, chosen by a greater power. I did not fall before, nor shall I here. That fate belongs to you. So, this fight is actually quite easy. I know that sounds weird since we've got a lot of demons here, but Orgath himself is kind of pathetic. Just like he was last time. You've no hope in this fight. Come, let us kill these maggots. So, you only have to kill him. So even playing this normally, this is basically a break from the last fight. So, your soul is barded as well. Your grandsire would be proud. Oh ho, low blow. How dare you! You pampered and coddled from your earliest days. What do you know of our affairs? Of being made to toil for another's pleasure, near without reward? Being trod upon even by peasant filth, struggling endlessly to rise back to your feet. What do you know of this? I'll purge this kingdom of all who once dared look down upon me. There is no place in the world for the meager. You'll do nothing of the sort. Mother, help me. And he did. As he should be. By the way, it has been confirmed. This is not speculation. It's been confirmed that they added in this additional battle just because players hated him so much that they wanted to allow players to kill him again. And I, for one, thank them for it. Now I just need to kill him again. And again. And again, 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 in the optional stuff. You think I'm kidding? Elmdore, you fight a battle already lost. Release Alma and end this vain struggle. How could I release what I never held? There are but ghosts within these walls. But far be it from me to turn away from the one Beowulf to grace us with his presence. So I don't know about you guys, I've always found his second form easier than his first. Anyone else have that same reaction or situation? Here, dying, join my legions of undeath. Your blood, the roses on unhallowed graves. The Marquise is made a demon? What devilry is this? Yeah, Zelera's messed up. But I mean, you know, it's the death Lucavi, so it makes sense. It's actually a bit of a shame that most of the actual Lucavi fights are relatively easy, considering that in lore they're supposed to be insanely strong. I mean, we saw that with Hashmal, who wiped out most of an entire castle garrison by himself. I mean, I'm not saying they're easy fights, except for Kukulain. Hashmal, bring order here where I have failed. Yeah, Belias is pretty rough. I remember the Belias fight being pretty bad. I think that's it, actually. Hashmal isn't really hard, Ultima isn't really hard. Zelera isn't really that hard. Kukulain is actually easy, even playing normally. It's weird for a game that's so generally unforgiving. My mind reels to think such evil power lay concealed within this tiny crystal. These holy relics of the church, I thought them no more than strangely colored stones. I knew not that they sought to work true miracles through them. The truth was kept well guarded, from you and Isilud alike. Even Vigraf knew not of their true nature until he became a Lucavi. It is as I thought. Lord Falmbarv guides even the High Confessor's scheming to their ends. What is it they wish? To kill lots of people. If we were to judge from Riavanas, they possess power enough already to drive an army to its knees. Yet they still do not use it or even flaunt it openly. There must be a reason, and that reason is our answer. Surely they stay their hands for something. Well, so this is a good time to explain that the reason the Lucavi haven't just killed a lot of people by themselves is because the idea is that they are looking for the perfect host. In this case, Alma. The problem with that mentality is that doesn't explain why they then are okay with allowing people killing other people en masse, because that would still possibly remove, you know, any hosts that they might find. So I'm going to go and give you my headcanon. Sorry. See, let's look at the facts here. The Lucavi are arranging this whole, basically pushing everyone to fight each other, right? They pushed the High Confessor, which and in turn the Church of Glabados pushed the two dukes, right? And all of this kind of came about almost incidentally as a consequence of the Succession War. This is also immediately following the 50 Years' War, which was horrifically devastating. Then, in the middle of all this, they find a host, and all of a sudden their plans shift drastically to resurrecting Ultima. But they didn't know they had a host. They were looking for her, but this whole plan to resurrect Ultima was always just kind of on the back burner until they find Alma, right? So, all that's the facts we know. Here's where we get into my headcanon. I think those that were here were obviously looking for the host body, but we're basically just kind of having fun. I think that they were just kind of pushing the wars to be as bad as possible for fun. That was just something they do to pass the time while they wait to find host bodies for their various allies and selves. And then by coincidence, they find hers, you know, Alma, and then they're like, ah, quick, okay, now we have to actually work on resurrecting her. Not that I'm aware, Sigil, no. The Lucavi are cruel and wicked and cannot be felled by men. You just saw what I just did, right, Meliador? I have seen these monsters slain. Well, of course, Dakoita, but again, they didn't know she was here until towards the end of the game. They didn't have a host body. So the whole killing lots of people thing, I mean, possibly they could have been charging it just in case, but, I mean, how many years are they just going to have warfare going on in preparation for the possibility that someday Ultima might show up? Anyways, they do not appear to be the undying demons of which the legends speak. Yeah, legends are but stories, embellished with each new telling. Maybe the Lucavi are no more than ordinary fiends. Coordinated. This is actually probably the one thing I really like about the Lucavi, as weird as this sounds. I think the Lucavi aren't that strong. I mean, yeah, we saw Hashmal wreck that whole fortress. But given the overall tone and themes of Final Fantasy Tactics, I prefer the idea that the Lucavi are low tier. That even for all their supposed strength, they still are relatively weak, and thus they rely on manipulation, and corruption, and deception, and tactics in order to accomplish what they need. In other words, that the advantage the Lucavi have over other demons is that they're coordinated, that they're organized. If you don't understand what I mean by that, just picture a very strong group of units who have no battle tactics whatsoever versus a weaker group of units who are very coordinated and are actively using flanking and maneuvering and all that against them. Who do you think is going to win there, right? That's just something I like to think, though. I don't know what their actual intent was. So this is when we find out that a stone was given to Dyce-darg. Yeah, actually, the Reapers parallel is not exactly a bad one. Because the Reapers, for all their strength, go way out of their way to do a lot of manipulation and a lot of prep work, rather than just walking in and winning. Now I gotta go literally across the country. This is gonna suck. How many random encounters do you think we'll get on the way there? Meanwhile, Delita is still being evil. It's okay. Believe it or not, Well, I'll talk more about what Delita accomplishes later, but yeah. Hey, what's up, buddy? Oren, what's happened? You're bleeding. Lady Ovelia, there's something I must tell you. I beg you, hear my words. The man who murdered Duke Coltana was not my father, Count Orlandeau. He was framed for treason. He escaped from Fort Belisar with Waffles Beowulf. He fights now to frustrate the High Confessor's plot. I did not think the Count a man who would plot a rebellion. Lady Ovelia, are you safe? Please open the door, my lady. But if not your father, then who? Princess, has he harmed you? We found him. He's in here. Hello, Delita, and your new outfit. Stand up, turn, and walk out the door behind you. But Lord Commander, it was not a request. I beg you hurt him no further. This is a foolish thing you've done, Oren. Traitor, you have no right to speak to me. You act as though you did not wish for what I did. Look around you. Do you see any earnest tears? You were not alone in praying for his fall. I even made your father out for dead. No, you should thank me. No one pursues a man known slain. I am in no mood for japes. Why would you do such a thing, Delita? I told you, didn't I? I work to see you made a queen for true. Not you do as for true. You only wish to use me like the rest. You do not trust me? You trust me or you don't, Ovelia. Which is it? Return to your chambers. I need have words with Oren. Now, this scene actively doesn't make sense. So she leaves, but of course spies in. I'm not sure where they think she was supposed to be going anyways. I guess there's a door there, never mind. What I meant to do is done. I only sought to clear my father's name. Go on, I only ask you make it clean and quick. Stop your whimpering. I do not mean to kill you, that would be a waste. What good use could you possibly see in me? Your loyal service. Again, you cheat. I would die before I bent my knee in your service. No, you would not. I am going to bring down the northern sky, and when that sky falls, the land of Ivalice will again be made level. Then I built a new kingdom for Ovelia. The High Confessor will face judgment as well, of course. I am not the Church's hound. Are you mad? You know what I do is right. It is undeniably so. A common-born squire takes the reins of a knightly order, leads a wayward kingdom from midst the chaos. The masses yearn for a hero. I give them what they wish. Using aught and all to forge your legend. Is that so wrong? What? Do you mean to kill me? I know full well the High Confessor sent you to keep watch on me. Your orders are to kill me at the first sign of betrayal, no? Do it then. Stab me with that dagger. I stand before you, unarmed. Strike me down. If you will not, then do not blame me for this. So that's never explained, because she's actually alive. She's in the ending. The fan explanation I've heard is that he cuts out her tongue. Meanwhile, Zalbag has hired a local herbalist and is taking him to his father's grave. Can you tell me the name of that mushroom? Of course, it's moss fungus, my lord. Not the deadliest of poisons, but not something you'd want in your stew either. This stuff gets you in the end. So I hear. Do you not think we should be getting back now, my lord? What has you so terrified? Don't you know, my lord? Moss fungus only grows on corpses. And, well, they say it's a right bad omen to find it growing on a family grave. The house falls as the cap rises, or so they say. On your way, then. Have some money. Your fee as promised. The rest should help you forget what you've seen. Forget what? And yeah, what Mick Ingramstein says is correct. I really have no idea what Delita does to her. And I guess it doesn't really matter. So Zalbag now has proof. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a possibility of 5 encounters. Okay, you ready for this? Hang on, let's do this really quick. Ah! It's 1 out of 5. You know what? Sure you. Got a job for you. And I think I need to let the dog out. Oh, hey, mind flayers. Woo! One of the things I like about the whole bad omen thing is it's one of those omens that comes from something logical. You know, the idea that if you find, you know, the moss fungus over a grave, it means someone probably poisoned the person, so obviously it would be a bad omen, right? That's 2 now. Also, we're getting pretty close to the point of no return in this game. We've got to do some stuff back at the castle, then we go after the church, and then we go to the Necrohol. Ugh. Oh, right. Meanwhile... My name is Cletiene. I come in Lord Folmar's stead to see his will made manifest. My limbs are frozen. What foul trick is this? A time magic of my own fabrication. Its might all but wasted on one such as you. I thought myself overcautious in readying the trap, but it appears that was not the case. You'll find no avail in a struggle. You've not the strength of will to break free. Make your peace, you go to the gods. Huh? Hi, Maliadul. Yours is an unexpected sight. Tell me, when did you don the traitor's cloak? I was not aware I had. Is not the garment draped on your own shoulders? It is Isilud and I who were used, by you and all the others. What of it, if you were? Those sins will be atoned for. There shall be no mercy, not even for you. Kill that guy. Okay. I have to. I think part of the other reason I like Meliadul is I like her outfit. I'm not sure, Olivia. Excuse me. Pro tip, don't ever sword fight on a roof. It's not a good idea. This I did not foresee, but surely the time I've bought will suffice. Sir Clayton, wait! Is it true? Is my father a Lucavi? Yeah. You've eyes, have you not? Go see for yourself. Yeah, sorry. Your dad has probably been gone for a long time. Yeah, imagine, haha! And then, like, one roof tile slips and you're like, whoa! And that's the end of that. Alright, come on, no more encounters. Ah, yes! Ah. So, meanwhile, on the other side of the country, who should I bring for this fight? Ashgrid, Luderbot, Hildonis, Shuryu, Chris, let's do it! We really are wrapping up at this point. Gultana is dead, Delita has abandoned him and basically taken over the southern sky. The only power left in the northern sky is Dyce-darg and his personal retinue. A retainer. Have you taken leave of your senses, Zalbag? This is madness. After what you've done, you think yourself fit to lead our house. The business with the Duke? Larg was long dead ere my dagger found its mark. Think, brother, he was a weak man who relied on others to fight where he could not. More the fool he for starting a war he could not stomach. Our liege lord's murder bothers me not half so much as our father's. How could you dirty your hands with his blood? What manner of son are you? I am my father's son. I know not of his murder. Duke Log's dying words. I could scarce believe my ears, but there was no mistaking what he said. Why did you kill him, Dyce-darg? Why? Lord Dyce-darg. Zalbag is taken with some madness. Seize him! Stand your ground, Zalbag. This map sucks so hard. That being said, this is one of the few times where the terrain is really an active part of the combat. I really want to explain this to you guys. So, for those of you who haven't played this game, so here's us, right? Down here. There's, unless you have really high jump or teleport, you're not getting up here at any point. So the only way up is to go all the way over here. And he's up there, and all of them are up there. You really, really have to know what you're doing and be prepped for this fight and basically be prepared to completely bypass the terrain in order to make this work. Or have a Dragoon, you know, I mean, that's also cool. By the way, that's probably at least 4 free turns the enemy gets. Just trying to get up there and join Zalbag. Assuming you don't just cheat and do what I'm about to do. Although, this isn't cheating, you can do what I'm doing in the actual game. although there are better methods of accomplishing this. Meliadul, Orlandeau, and Agrius will sweep the floor with this in this map. Hey, SJ. You've ruined everything. Evilise was to be ours, you fools! What have you done? Yeah, our stats would be much lower in a legit playthrough, obviously. And so, of course, Dyce-darg dies, or rather is defeated, which pushes him to the brink far enough to become a host for Adramelech. So, this is what it is to be a god. Fool of a brother, heed well these words. The last your ears shall hear. Slain by my hand our father Barbaneth. This war had brought our house its chance to rule. He would but watch as history passed us by. His due I granted him, no more, no less. No sword yet wrought can parry poison's kiss. And so on you waffles my gaze alight. No regret. A traitor's recompense. So, I mentioned earlier that percentage thing. This is one of the few desperations where the person is clearly at least a decent portion the original person, not just Adramelech. Well, you say that in Tangier. I mean, she did push Ultima out. FF 13, 13.2, 13.3, Type 0, and 15. Let's check. Wait. I was gonna say, are you gonna jump from under the bridge? Because that would amuse me. But nope, looks like we're slow-moding our way up there. Ah. And, of course... Oh, wow. Right, he has more than 999 health. I was gonna say, of course, Ramza gets the killing blow, but he doesn't. Too soon this mortal coil, did I assume. Angel of blood, high Seraph, come too late. Yeah, I don't actually anticipate 13.1 taking that long. I don't know how long 13.2 or 3 will take, because I've never played them. 15 I'm a little worried about, honestly. We may have to delay 15. House Beowulf is no more, but what does it matter? We are the sum of our deeds, not our names. And of course, this is from someone who once upon a time said, twice actually in this game, I am a House Beowulf, that is all that is the entirety of my identity. All that I do is because I am of Beowulf. Endgame, guys. No random encounter. Alright. This is it. So, that's the High Confessor, Funibris. The guy who I've actually referenced several times. This is the first time he's on camera. Had you made your confession willingly, your life might have been spared. I should have preferred to employ measures less extreme, but there's no time for that now. I don't understand. I had hoped to enlist your aid in gathering the Auracite, but the boy holds most of the stones now. Your aid is no longer required. Help me, please. Your wound is deep, but not mortal. Treat it soon, you will live. But you must earn your life. Tell me, where is the entrance to the Necrohol? Orbone, the vaults beneath the monastery. In the lowest levels, there's a glyph bound by magic seal. And how does one break the seal? I know not. The scriptures may hold some clue, I cannot say. At every turn, the boy! Goodbye, Funibris. Now, on the one hand, I somewhat pity Funibris. But on the other hand, he really brought this on himself. It is telling that in the end, someone who was behind so much of the blood and violence of the last couple of years was just an old man. A pathetic old man. With all of his power meaning nothing. He was arguably the strongest individual person, politically, in the world. But the Lucavi don't give a damn about political power. Not unless they're using it actively. At this point, all they're trying to do is summon Ultima. Everything else has stopped mattering. None save the clergy are allowed in these walls. State your name and title, and let your purpose in coming here be known. My name is Waffles Beowulf. I petition the release of Alma Beowulf, whose person is held unlawfully by Lord Commander of the Knights Templar. Waffles Beowulf? You are fool enough to present yourself before us? We will carry out your sentence where you stand! This is a good time as any to mention something. As I said before, the primary theme of this game is what you are in the dark, when no one else can judge you. And we've already seen a lot of that throughout the course of the game. But my favorite example of that by far is Ramza himself, who continues doing all of these things, even though they are effectively suicidal, because that is the kind of person he is. As was stated yesterday, he is someone who aspires to be a Mario, even though the world doesn't really allow him to be. It is fitting that Ramza's reward for all of this is to be judged a heretic and a footnote in history for 4 centuries as a result of his actions in saving the world. Yeah, honestly, if this was not a video game, he would be, wouldn't he, Takoida? Let's just be blunt about that. If we weren't controlling... It's the whole thing. If the player character wasn't controlling him, he would be dead. Now, that being said, this is a good time as any to mention something that I came across the information of rather recently. Apparently, Matsuno himself has actually confirmed that Ramza and Alma do actually live in the ending. Which is interesting, because that was something that was debated for years. Years and years that was debated as to what exactly was being seen at the end there, because the ending is actually quite vague. Are you shooting through the... Yes, you are. That's... wow. Anyways, the ending is actually quite vague, as we'll see when we actually get there. For once, I won't have to mute an ending of an FF game. So apparently Ramza and him survive, and Delita also survives. And so does Orin for, like, a couple of days. And, I can't even remember her frickin' name. The church woman who screamed earlier, who says nothing in the ending. And that's it. Everyone else dies. But it is interesting to me because it means, at its core, that Ramza got a good ending, and Delita arguably did not. Although I've heard some people say, oh no, poor Delita, all on his own at the top of the heap, being king of the entire country. Poor Delita. But it's obvious from the writers and from Matsuno himself that the whole point was that Delita is alone and abandoned and is not happy in any sense of the word. That his story is supposed to have a tragic end. Although, of course, not as tragic as Ovelia's, who he kills, by the way. Alright. We're pretty much at endgame here, so we're going to start bringing the final team here. I just shrug next time. I have more to say about Delita, but we'll save that, because, yeah. Waffles, at last we meet. Pray forgive me, I ought to have called you sooner, but I have been ever so busy of late. I fear I remain even so now, so let us make this brief. If you would see your sister returned alive, you will relinquish the scriptures and all the Oracite you possess. Refuse, and she dies ere the word leaves your lips. Are we of an understanding? My patience has grown thin. I have what you desire. Where is Alma? I surrender not till she is brought before me. Did you not hear a word I said? I offered no negotiable terms. Forfeit the scriptures and the stone, or forfeit your sister's life. And then he does, because he's an idiot. Because every hero in everything ever is an idiot. Although at least he only gives up the scriptures and not the stones. Although it's worth noting they don't need the stones right now, they just need the scriptures. Well. It is written here, surprisingly simple incantation. Excellent, then we have all we need of them. Of course, I suppose propriety dictates that we venge Belias and the others while they're here. We are deceived, oh my god! Shock value. I'm very shocked by what's happening here. This is a surprise. Sorry. Come on, Ramza. I know you were naive, but I mean, you've had a whole game of character development. Why did you not kill Alma? What do you mean? You took no pause in slaughtering your own son. Why keep my sister alive? Our affairs are not for you to know! At least he's paying attention enough to recognize that little inconsistency. Hey, Lawfrey. Bye, Lawfrey. We will serve our vengeance another day. Teleprot! I know, right, McAngramstein? It's just, really, dude? I mean, if you think about it, the mere fact that they haven't killed her already means there's something up. And the odds of them killing her, if he doesn't comply, are actually pretty damn low. I mean, obviously we know they wouldn't, but even from his perspective, he could have perceived that. I fear I've no more time to waste on you. Would that I could bid you farewell here, but I suspect you'd not part ways so easily. I suppose you must be returned to the Father after all. My thralls will delight to guide you to his keeping. The sanctuary even holds a sarcophagus. It's as though fate lends her hand. Let me just rip that open here. Of course, death is sooner served by steel. I shall let this one be your foeman as well. Hi, Zalbag. Once he was your brother, but he is reborn unto us now. You're a heretic already, why not a kinslayer? Zalbag, deliver me the head of that young man before you. He must not leave this cathedral alive. Sorry, Zalbag. I have no choice. I must kill you! Again. Lord Brother Azai, do you not know your own blood? Waffles? Is that you? What is this place? It's so dark, and I cannot see. What am I doing? Do I stand? Sit? I have no sensation. It's as though I had no limbs. You're being controlled by Lord Falmarv, by a Lucavi! Am I fighting you? Why would I do such a thing? Flee, or may I strike you down. So anyways, we fail at convincing him not to be controlled by the guy. And yeah, for reasons that I will never understand, he's basically a vampire here, in terms of gameplay. As opposed to, like, a zombie, which might make a little more sense, but, you know, whatever. Hell do I know. Actually... Honestly, yeah, he probably shouldn't be able to talk here, at least until this moment, when the control is effectively broken, and then he is detonated. Whatever. This whole part of the game feels rather rushed, to be blunt. This is probably, you know, it occurs to me to kind of reach out to Sigil and, I forget who else, actually. I think this might be part of the reason why the Lucavi plot doesn't feel as strong as the other plots. It's in the background for the entire game. In fact, we saw Fulmarv on screen first time all the way back in Chapter 2. God, he's still alive. That's just horrible. Struggling against the sword that has him impaled. Anyways, but the most time the Lucavi have screen time is right at the end, where we're basically just barreling towards the end as fast as we can, when the political story has effectively stopped. Delita, as of this moment, Delita has won in every way except for one. The only way in which Delita has not succeeded is because the Lucavi still exist, and Delita has already maneuvered things so that he is at least passively aiding in the destruction of the Lucavi. Otherwise, the political plot has effectively ceased. Yeah, I know. You're evil, but it's okay. You gave me the information you needed to before you died. That's all that really matters. Yes, we do know Delita knows about the Lucavi. Although, unfortunately, we don't know when. Like, when that comes in. Okay, no random encounters. Okay, we're good, So this is officially endgame now. It's just battle after battle from this point on. And of course, we finish at Orbone Monastery, aka the place where the very first battle in the entire game was, when all we controlled was Ramza, and we were still with Gefgarian and all that. Of course, now we're below Orbone, but, you know, still. I really do wonder how many of the Templar Knights are in on the Lucavi plot. It would be interesting to know. We know at least some of them are, but, like Lothri, for example, is actually an Ultima demon. Although they never say that in the game, I think. That's true, Intangir. You don't want Loaderbot to do anything. Loaderbot's still charging his spell, guys. But no, you're absolutely right. There's quite a few times where a main character, a significant plot character, doesn't get a lot of screen time. In fact, if you remember, during the course of this lore run I've been pointing out, Exdeath was the first time a major villain actually had a lot of screen time. Because Golbez wasn't, you know. How much did we see Zemus? How much did we see the Cloud of Darkness? Or Zand? How much did we see Emperor Mateus, you know? And so forth. Did you just steal his helmet? Oh, that makes sense. Brilliant, actually. And yeah, these gargantuan books here always made me go. Hell, even Ultimecia didn't actually have that much presence in 8. I know we see her as Edea, but yeah. So then we kill a bunch of Templar dudes. Eventually. They really like to block our attacks. This is going to take a minute. Didn't mean to save, but whatever. Next! Yeah, that's true. I think the thing I like most about the Lucavi is they are a trope I enjoy, and have employed in my own written works as well. It's the idea of someone outside of a system who can do more because they are outside of the system. In other words, you know, if you don't care about money, you care about, you know, objective A, you don't mind burning money or wasting money in ways that normal people wouldn't, right? Like a crime lord, he wouldn't do that because he wants more money. But someone who doesn't give a damn about money will throw gasoline on it and burn it in the background while he tries to make his point, you know? I do enjoy that kind of literary trope, and that's one of the reasons why I like the Lucavi, is because they don't give a damn about any of this crap, really. They manipulate and scheme, of course, but it's all just kind of to lay way for what they actually care about. They don't actually want to have a nice castle and good food and all of the other benefits that that political power garners for normal people. Ah, you've come very far, but no farther. Your bones will rest here in the darkness. The stones of the monastery make an ironic cairn for a heretic such as you. Now, hey Duck Gobrin, happy Eclipse Day. This is a mean fight, by the way. There's like no terrain at all, which makes it kind of boring. But then you've got him, who's basically a magic sword guy. 2 black mages, a time mage, and 2 summoners. And the AI is much better at using magic than you are. This is not my time. So much remains to be done. For you, Waffles, I shall cast open the very gates of hell. So yeah, I gotta be honest, in the PS1 version, I really had no idea what the hell was going on with this. Like, the first time I played it. It's like, what? This is actually, you remember that ocean area I pointed out back on the overworld map? This actually occurs there. That's where this is happening. Not this. I mean, everything from this point until the ending. Victory! Yay! So we're going to the Necrohol of Mullonde. This is the location where the old country, or I guess province really, of Mullonde kind of got destroyed thanks to the death of Ajora. It's not called a Necrohol until this version, of course. Why did it get destroyed? Don't know. I already talked about that. There's a lot of holes here. So it got destroyed, and I'm not sure how or why. The prevailing theory is that when Ultima was defeated, it caused a really big destruction explosion thing, and that caused the Necrohol to come into being. And sank the country. So this is kind of an inconsistency here. I remind you that, in canon, they get out of here and not only live through the events that are about to happen, but have a happy ending. And yet, the only way out is destroyed. So, I mean... I'm guessing they just found another way out. I don't know. For those not aware, the prevailing theory back in the day was not that they survived, but that Orlandeau is actually seeing their ghosts during the ending. And honestly, that kind of makes more sense than what actually happens here. Oh. Or, yeah, there you go. The heroes finally figure out how to make the teleport thing work. I actually agree with Sigil on this one. It makes more sense thematically for Ramza to die here, alone and unloved, having saved the world and been a good person, while Delita gets to reap the rewards of being king while having been a pretty bad person. I mean, that just makes perfect sense. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh, come on! I know, right? I mean, earlier we saw a a priest who was literally willing to die to impersonate Orlandeau, so it's not like they don't have the crazy loyalty thing going on. There we go. Also, they never really state this, but the idea is this place is literally underwater. And by literally, I mean literally. Like, you've played Wind Waker, right? The end of the game, the sunken Hyrule, kind of like that. That being said, that's never explained anywhere ever. And even that is just kind of a vague, yeah, no, oops, wrong person. They're totally underwater. How there's a bubble of water under here, I have no idea. Maybe Ultima's soul was putting out the bubble? I really don't understand what's going on with this. Yeah, it's actually exactly what it sounds like, Duck Cobra. It is a hall of dead people. Hence the term. So I remember this battle as sucking. Probably mostly because of those damn wyverns over there. Well, that would explain the whole compatibility thing, Sigil. It would even make more sense if the both of them are descendants from Majora on their mother's side. So, in other words, Zalbag and Dyce-darg would not have been compatible, would not have been of Majora's line, but they would. Yeah, the whole Twitch issues, I'm sorry, but there's really not a lot of reason to stream when there's no one to talk to, you know what I mean? And I could have blazed through the rest of the game last night, but yeah. Also, one of the first things I learned about this game was that the final battle was in a place called the Airship Graveyard. And I remember at the time thinking, oh man, that sounds awesome. Imagine how disappointed I was when I finally found the Airship Graveyard and was like, this is it? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. At least they give us a chance to freaking set up our parties for these things, you know? In between battles. So here it is, Airship Graveyard, last map of the game. I mean, this area is kind of really boring as far as a combat area. I'm sorry, but this is a really boring boss fight. It's such a shame. But we're here. I do not understand. Why does Virgo not awaken? The spirit of the High Seraph lingers in this place, I am sure. What could be amiss? Mayhap you are not the vessel of Saint Azura, after all. No, it cannot be. Virgo stirred at your presence. You must be the one! They have come. It's over, Fulmarv. You will not rouse Virgo. End this. Release my sister. Of course. It is but a matter of blood. You see, do you not? She wants for blood. The Angel of Blood must slake her thirst ere she rise again. The land has drunk deep of blood in the Chiliad since Saint Azura's death, yet still she covets more. So be it. Once more to World of Light, there to steep the earth in blood's sweet rain. Worry not. You will not live to see the storm. And yes, I do, Dakota. So this is, what, 3 battles in a row on this map? Something like that. So there's Hashmal. Angel of Blood, in all things you I serve. No wine more deep, no searing coal more hot than this, the crimson I spill, the crimson blood for you I spill. I am totally with that, Rory. I'm totally with that. So here's Hashmal. He really should be a lot harder than he is. She will not waken to your vile speech. What have you done to her? Her will intact, our plans would come to naught. When next she wakes, her sacred task made clear. Unto this world our brethren must she call. We'll see how this battle goes. Again, even playing normally, this is not a particularly hard fight. As I mentioned earlier, none of these fights are really. Honestly, in my opinion, the last really hard fight was the one just before this with the wyverns and everything. Or the hydras, excuse me, not wyverns. Alright, I have a very important task for you, Chris. I want you to steal his heart! Oh, he's out of range. Damn it! Don't worry, I'll have you steal Ultima's heart. How's that sound? My lord and master, still you do not work. Too far we've come to taste now of defeat. Angel of blood, that you should rise. My life I gladly give. Ugh. That always makes me flinch just a bit. Well, he's got really sharp claws, and he did something like this. Think about it, Mugen. So here's Saint Ajora. By the way, the game is actually unclear as to whether Ajora was male or female. They actually changed their minds a few times throughout it. But of course, Alma was not a willing host, as mentioned earlier, which is significant. Fine. It's okay, Rory. I'm sure many people will complain on YouTube about me cheating in all the games I've been playing through. Yeah, I don't know. Like, are we in the air? Is that why we can see the underside of the airship? I don't know what's going on here. I mean, I know it's limitations of the system. So, of course, Alma is fighting back against the inclusion of Ultima. This is a good time to mention that we don't know if there ever really was an Ajora. Or if I should say, Ajora was possessed by Ultima very early in Ajora's life, probably from being a child. It was actually Ajora dying with Ultima inside her that led to Ultima being sealed away, and hence the problem the Lucavi feel. Loyal minions, heed my call to me! Shadow Machine, so far Loaderbot has been pretty awesome, but see, here's the thing. Loaderbot has been slowly charging up a spell for like the entire game so far. But now it's time to unleash it. It's not that spell. It'll be in a minute here. defiance reaps you not, but death's embrace. Someone remind me, Ultima has more than 999 HP, right? Like I'm remembering that correctly? Because that is important. Yeah, I like how Ultima looks here as well. Not so much her second form. Well, her HP is question mark, question mark, question mark. Out of question mark, question mark, question mark. But her MP is also question mark. Yeah, I didn't get it. Now, I have a very important job for you. I need you to steal her heart! Aw. Stop flirting with the Angel of Blood. Hang on, actually, an idea here. Okay, she has more than 999. We're good. God, the music really doesn't like this section of the game, does it? Listen to this. Very well, there's only one thing left to do. You must steal the heart of the Ultima demons. Wow, I didn't think that'd work. Well, I guess you got to steal from a succubi after all. Although it's not really a succubi, but whatever. Hang on just a second. Sorry, Chris. Smartest FF protagonist? Man, I'm not sure. Ham. So anyways. Why do spells take forever? Loaderbot is so useless. I hate you, Loaderbot, and anyone who donated for you. They must die. I'm kidding. It's just spells take so damn long to charge. Ultima might actually get a turn at this point. At this rate. No, I didn't declare that. That would require multi-classing, because white mages don't get that innately. Oh, there it is! Go, Loaderbot! Unleash the power of the heavens! More or less literally! Impossible this end to meet. I see it now, too late. In you, his blood, my vanquisher in times long past. Yeah, for some reason, we are a descendant of Germanique. I still like the idea that we're a descendant of Azora, but whatever. So this is the no-really final battle with undead Ultima, or Ultima. No explanation for why she looks this way this time, but, I mean, whatever. Just 1 second. Germanique was the one who was, who betrayed Azora. What the? Loaderbot? Why didn't you oh, he's out of MP. He's out of MP! Do I have anybody who has item use? I don't think I do. We always were, Mugen. We'll be doing the same Wednesday for the same reason. Damn, yeah, I don't think I have item use. Well, it's time for Loaderbot to unleash the ever-loving hell. Aw. Of being Loaderbot. He's got this, guys. He's got this. God, the emulator really does not like this map, does it? Like, it's been off and on with the audio glitches, but this is bad. Yes, he charged the whole game to cast that one holy. I should have saved it for this form. I figured he'd had enough for a second holy. Silly me. What the? Yeah, probably. The boss does look like it's got multiple sprites at the same time. You got this, Loaderbot! There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Wonder Shot. So even though we're basically underwater, or whatever, we live through this. Canonically. I still stand by my statement that it makes more sense thematically and logically for us to die here, but whatever. Different victory music. Woo! Yeah, canonically, Alma and Ramza lived through that. So here's the first ending. Blessings of the Great Father descend and guide your body's return to the earth. May the grace of Saint Azorus lead Alma's soul to the eternal shores of paradise. There she shall find peace for She was so young. For all the children of the house to be taken at once, the gods are cruel. And the youngest son denied even a burial. Such a tragedy. For 3 centuries, House Beowulf stood, but no more. Hello, Oran and woman who isn't speaking. Ah, waffles, Alma, forgive me. I am late in paying my respects. I would have come sooner, were not so many eyes upon me. Delita and Ovelia are wed now. A common-born youth restores peace to the realm, and now together with the princess he forges a new kingdom. A tale of heroism not like to be soon forgotten. I believe Delita may be just the man you said, pure of heart in the end. When Valmafra revealed herself for an agent of Mullonde, he made it appear as though he'd killed her, then let her run. I think he must have caught a glimpse of himself in her, a tool manipulated by Lord Falmarv. My father, did he die bravely? Or at all? So, Oren, of course, writes the truthful accounting of this game. That's the account we've been reading this entire game. And pretty much right after this, he is caught by the House of Glabados and burnt at the stake. Yes, really. You can kind of see why some people have presumed that that was just him seeing ghosts, rather than them actually being alive. However, according to word of canon, they did actually live. But he gets burnt at the stake. And Ovelia's fate is about to be revealed. I'll save that until I see it. So after being burned at the stake as a heretic, 400 years later, the papers and truthfulness of this matter were found. And I just realized this is going to be really loud, isn't it? And that led to the revelations of the truth of both Ramza and his role in history. And apparently, and I don't actually quite understand this, it's portrayed as a good thing that 400 years later, Ramza is lauded as a hero. Which makes weird sense to me. Excuse me, apparently it was actually 5 years before he was burnt at a stake. My bad. Seized Oren as a heretic and burnt him at the stake. Yay, a happy ending. I guess I just don't get it next time. Oh yeah, by the way, this is when the hammers drop. This whole time we knew Arslan was reciting this. We didn't actually know that he was part of Durai's family until that last tidbit there. I'm gonna skip through this. Some cool pictures. Good artwork. No, seriously, this is good artwork. He does good stuff. Despite the lack of noses. Let's just say FF12 isn't really connected to this and just leave it at that, because it's true. It was an artificial connection to begin with. So here we are at Zeltennia Castle, at the spot where she started to fall in love with him. He is now king. There was a brief scene earlier where she was actually given a knife to protect her from Agrius. Today's your birthday, isn't it? Whoa! How could you? You used them and all the others, and someday you'll cast me aside, just as you did him. Well, don't worry, that day is actually right now, because he stabs her to death. Ovelia, who we don't even know the circumstances of her birth, lived her entire life in seclusion as a threat to political power or as a tool to political power, never had freedom, never had happiness, and ended up being killed by the man who used her to ascend to the throne. And yes, she was referring to Ramza there. Now, Delita canonically survives this attack, and that makes sense. It was just one stab, although that was another thing that was debated for quite some time, whether or not Delita survived that stab. He does, just to let you know. And this is what I want to talk about, something interesting about this. Delita is not a good person. He is not a hero. Let's make that clear. But, interestingly enough, he does actually stabilize the country and lead it to a new, unheard-of era of prosperity. We know, thanks to the accounts from Arslan, or however you're supposed to say his damn name, that after this, the kingdom flourished, and they rebuilt the land, they stopped the civil war, etc., etc. It was a golden era for Ivalice, and all of that happened because Delita was a manipulative, lying, conniving, evil individual, or at least willing to do evil acts. I should clarify that. He did a lot of bad stuff, and he was willing to shove aside or kill everyone in his path in order to lead to this great, glorious era. And that, in my opinion, really is the overall presentation of Final Fantasy Tactics in a nutshell. One person who was heroic, who was a good person, a good man, Ramza, managed to go and literally save the world. Another man, who is not a good person, managed to go and stabilize the world. And in the end, he laments that he is truly alone, that for all he has accomplished, he has no friends and no loved ones and no one to stand beside him. The end. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Final Fantasy Tactics. Go and get my save data there. Why did he kill Ovelia? Because she tried to kill him. Because she tried to stab him to death and just kind of failed, so he counterattacked. So, ladies and gentlemen, I could start FF13 early, but I only have about an hour and a half to play, so I think I actually will not. I don't want to do an hour and a half of FF13. So we're going to cut off the stream really early today. And I will be back tomorrow for a full stream. And then Wednesday we'll have to cut off early as well. So I hope you guys will join me tomorrow for the beginning of FF13. And thank you all for joining me for the Zodiac Brave story. Hope you enjoyed my first real look on camera at this game.